Well, thanks, Quinn. And we're up and running, and I see some festive hats out here tonight, and it's our last meeting of the year. Actually, it's interesting that 2021 is finally over, and it's been quite a year. And I was originally going to get and do a little year in review, but I think we'll save that for the January meeting and have Derek put some stuff together. We had a pretty good year overall. One stat I will give you is that we had, I got this from the building department, 214 permits for $37 million, which our best year ever was 31 million last year, I believe. So busy times in Minto, even though we had the pandemic, and unfortunately we still have it. And I want to just speak to a little bit on that today before we get into the meeting, in that we're at another wave. And it saddens me that we had to put out a press release today. And I think everybody here on the council was informed before the press release went out. But we're really asking people to really look at themselves and say, you know, with this new variant and what's happening and how fast it's hitting everybody, and it's hitting people that are vaccinated and unvaccinated as well. So you're not totally protected with a couple of vaccinations like you thought you were before. So really pushing on getting the boosters or the third shot. We're trying to get working on that. As I said in my note, we're working on another clinic maybe in Clifford later on, and like the early part of January. We have one in Palmerston on January 4th, and that's been extended from a 3-hour to a 7-hour. We're working very hard at getting people their third doses, because I realize that will help to protect them a little bit more. Our numbers are really bad. I mean, we're sitting at 28 cases right now, 300 over for the 100,000. So that is almost double what the county or what the health unit is. And we're the highest out there as far as population goes. With the number of cases we have, we're the highest. So, and it's not a good thing. And I don't know about you, but I'm hearing cases of people having to isolate now. You know, children are coming home or caught COVID on the bus or on the way home, or other people have got it. So their Christmases are being changed up quite a bit. And another public health note, and you heard it probably today if you listened to the head of the MOH for Ontario, is the fact that they're so far behind on tracing now, they can't trace anymore. So we're in a situation where if you do get it and have symptoms and test positive, you're going to have to tell people around you that they're going to have to isolate and do things, because the public health may not be able to trace it all. So it's really a tough situation, and I appreciate the fact that we're having to shut down kind of for the next couple of weeks, see what happens. You know, maybe the numbers will get less. We can maybe get back to normal or a bit more of a normal in the new year, but I'm really worried, and it wasn't easy for us to decide to do this, but I think it's the best thing we could have done. So if you get any calls from the public, relay them on to Derek or myself if you would like. It doesn't matter, and basically we'll deal with it as we can. But anyways, great meeting tonight. We have a good meeting, so let's move it on. It's a pretty full meeting, so I'll call the meeting to order. Disclosure any peculiar interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yes, Mayor Bridge, I'd like to disclose 10B6, minutes of settlement adjustment. And okay. I own one of the properties that are on that.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you, David. Just remember that, Annaline, and we can make sure that, okay. Moved by Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that the minutes of Town of Minto, November 23rd, 2021 budget meeting, November 30th, 2021 budget meeting, December 7th, 2021 regular council meeting be approved. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Additional items. Anybody got additional items? We're going to do it. We have, okay, Councillor McKenzie. Anybody else? Councillor Dirksen. Judy, okay, and Jean. Okay. Anybody else? We can get that a little later. Moved by Councillor Gutson, second by Councillor Elliott. The town of Minto convenes into the Committee of Adjustment. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, carried. Okay. I'll call the public hearing to order and state any decisions reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. I will state the following. The public hearing is to consider a minor variance application MV 2021-20, Bruce Riley. I will call on the Secretary Treasurer McRobb to state the following information. Go ahead, Annalee.
Thank you, Chair Bridge. The property subject to the proposed amendment is located on Part Lot 18, Concession 4, with a municipal address of 6167 5th Line. The subject property is approximately 26.5 hectare or 65.48 acres in size. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone the subject land to prohibit future residential development on the retained agricultural portion of property. This rezoning is condition of severance application B71/21, which has been granted provisional consent by Wellington County Land Division Committee. The consent will sever an approximately 1 hectare or 2.47 acre parcel with an existing dwelling. A 25.5 hectare or 63.1 acre agricultural parcel would be retained. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on November 29th, 2021, and posted on the subject property on November 30th, 2021. Reports and comments have been received from the town of Minto staff and our senior planner from the Wellington County, and were attached for council to review.
Thank you. And I will call on Ashley to give the town report. Go ahead, Ashley.
Sorry, just to clarify, I think this first one's supposed to be for the Riley minor variance. Sorry,
That's
I didn't want to interrupt you.
That is, no, I'm glad you interrupted me. That was my fault. I'm going to reread all of that all over again.
Oh, okay, because yeah, I was
I
listening to you, but
apologize. Let's try that again.
yeah, just
Okay.
do the program.
The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is to provide relief for the subject property from the required minimum front yard setback to construct a detached garage with a 25-foot setback from the property line. Relief is required from section 8.5.2.3, 6.31C, and 6.1.2C of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 0186 as amended. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies, and posted on the subject property on December 9th, 2021. Reports and comments have been received from our Town of Minto staff and the Senior Planner of Wellington County and the Environmental Planning Technician for Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, and were attached for council to review. I'd like to advise that we had no one register to speak.
Okay. All right, now I'll turn it over to Ashley. Good catch, Ashley.
Thanks. So as Annalee mentioned, this minor variance is for 9509 Road 1 North, where there's currently an existing single detached dwelling. So if you drive by the property, the front of the house actually faces towards the 12th line, but as defined by the bylaw, technically the front lot line is the Road 1 North due to the size. So the property owner is proposing to construct a detached garage in what would technically be the required front yard, although it will be behind the existing house. This does require a setback of 60 feet as the property is zoned reduced lot agricultural. However, the relief requested is for 25 feet from the property line. So that being said, a large portion of this property is under the regulation of Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority. The owner has explored other options on the property for the garage location. However, he doesn't want to construct it in front of his house, and he can't construct it in any of the Saugeen Valley regulated area or over his well. So that has left one logical location on the property. Saugeen Valley has been out to the site for a visit, and they've determined that this proposed location is acceptable for them. Town and county staff note that the application maintains the general intent and purpose of the OP and zoning bylaw, and we have not received any letters of concern from neighboring landowners. So we are recommending the committee consider granting the requested relief and approving the application.
Okay, all right. And I don't see Bruce on the call. Annalee?
I do not see him either.
No, so I assume he's not going to be speaking. And I'll just ask any of the councillors if any concerns or questions. Okay, hearing none. I would then assume, Annalene, you could read the approval one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I will read this for your consideration. It is that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Bruce Riley for property legally described as Concession 12, Part Lot 5, Register Plan 60R-2950, Part 1, Part 3, with a municipal address of 9509 Road 1 North in the Town of Minto to provide relief from Section 8.5.3.2, 6.31C, and 6.1.2C of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 0186 as amended to permit for a reduced front yard setback of 7.62 meters or 25 feet.
Okay. Anybody opposed to that?
We would require a mover and a seconder.
Oh, we need a mover and seconder, sorry. A mover, Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Dirksen. Anybody opposed? That is carried. Okay, I'll end it by saying anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment with respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89 Harrison NOG 1ZO or email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. I will officially adjourn the public hearing. It is adjourned. Okay. Okay, the next one up is moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Deputy Mayor Turton, that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment convenes into the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Sorry. Okay, got you almost, Jeff. Carried. Okay, this is for a public meeting, and it's on the 5th line, McLaughlin's. I'll act as chair of the public meeting. I'll call the meeting to order and Clerk McRobb to ensure that any members of the public present is recorded in the attendance record. I will state the following. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Minto before the bylaws pass, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Town of Minto to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and the persons or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the tribunal unless, in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. I'll ask Clerk McRobb to state the municipal address and legal description of the property and purpose and effect of the application. The date notices were sent. Go ahead, Annalene.
We'll try this one all over again.
Yeah.
The
You
property
practiced.
subject, yeah, that's right. The property subject to the proposed amendment is located on Part Lot 18, Concession 4, with a municipal address of 6167 5th Line. The subject property is approximately 26.5 hectare or 65.48 acres in size. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone the subject lands to prohibit future residential development on the retained agricultural portion of property. This rezoning is a condition of severance application B71/21, which has been granted provisional consent by Wellington County Land Division Committee. The consent will sever an approximately 1 hectare or 2.47 acre parcel with an existing dwelling. A 25.5 hectare or 63.01 acre agricultural parcel would be retained. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on November 29th, 2021, and posted on the subject property on November 30th, 2021. Reports have been received from the Town of Minto staff, from Wellington County staff, and were attached for council to review.
Okay, thank you. And I will call on, is the county planner here? Actually,
Yep,
you
I'm
do.
here.
Oh, there's Jessica. I didn't see you up there, Jessica. Okay, I'll ask Jessica to bring the county's report. Go ahead, Jessica.
Okay, thank you. So the purpose of this zoning amendment is to rezone the retained agricultural portion of the property to prohibit any future residential development. So this rezoning is to satisfy condition of severance application that's been granted provisional consent by the Wellington County Land Division Committee. So this consent will sever approximately 1 hectare parcel that with an existing dwelling and shed from the retained 15.4 hectare agricultural parcel. So this is a standard application that we usually see. However, it's a little unique in the fact that it does have the rail line that runs through the farm parcel. At this time, the property owners have purchased that rail line, but it does remain in separate ownership. So we are just rezoning the 15.4 hectares to restrict residential. The parcel behind is technically landlocked at this point and will remain agricultural as well as the 1 hectare parcel. I do believe there's Ryan here he's the planning consultant on behalf of the property owner. So we don't have any concerns with the application, but we're here if you have any further questions.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just turn it over to Ashley to do the town one, and then if we need any questions, Ryan, I know you're there, if the council needs to ask any questions. Okay, go ahead, Ashley.
So yeah, I think Jessica's pretty much covered it. This is pretty standard for a severance of this nature. Town staff and Maitland Valley do not have concerns with the zoning to clear condition of the severance, and our remaining conditions still apply, such as removing the barn and access to the satisfaction of the town and pretty standard conditions.
Okay. Now let's open it up to the council. If anybody got any questions from the council? I see there's no, I'm sorry, there's nobody, I believe, registered to speak, Annaline. Am I right?
That is correct, Mayor Bridge. There was no one registered to speak.
Okay. So I'll open up to the councilors for questions. Both to any questions? Pretty straightforward. Okay, good. All right. So I'll state the following. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the Council of Town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto, 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, NOG 10, or by email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. If there's no further comments, I will adjourn the public meeting. Thanks, everybody, for coming. See you, Ryan. Okay. Wow, delegations. It's always nice to see Luke come back and give us a wrap up of and I think Aaron's with him as well. And I want to just invite and welcome, I guess, Aaron into the fold. As you all know, Aaron is going to be taking over Taylor's role. Taylor decided to go and do some other things and maybe enjoy her motherhood and other things that she's on the go. And so she's not coming back, and Aaron is going to be taking over her slot that she did very well for about a year. So I'll turn it over to Luke and Aaron, and they can talk about the great time they had at the farmers market this year. And I was over there a few times, and it was well run. Go ahead. Is Luke there?
We'll just give Luke a minute. It looks like he is not unmuted. I'm just going to ask him to unmute
He's an
himself.
attendee. He's okay. All right.
There he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There he is.
All right, perfect. Sorry, I'm in, I'm just gonna be voiceover. Hopefully that's okay.
That's all right, Luke. We love to see you, but we understand that the technology can be a little tricky.
Yes, but no, thanks, Mayor Bridge, Council, and everyone. So just kind of an overview. We had an excellent market season once again. This year we were actually able to start on time, which was great. So we ran from June to the last week in September. Aaron kind of put together a few notes here. By the way, Aaron's been excellent. Taylor was great, and Aaron is just as good. So we've been blessed with some great support from the town. So we very much appreciate it. I guess just a few notes from a vendor standpoint. Numbers seem to grow each year. We've had a good mix of farmers and local artisans. We had a total of 18 vendors this year, which is up from about 11 from 2020, which was a little reduced due to the COVID restrictions of the day. We had an awesome volunteer this year, Ella Raynard, who assisted with setup and takedown. She was great. She was helping to get her high school volunteer hours. I'm not sure if Aaron has given you the report, but she did an awesome job of serving attendance numbers, amongst other things, social media. So if you don't have that, I'm sure she can get it to you. It's a lot of details, which is great. She did a great job of promoting on social media, which as many of you may know is the primary way for a lot of people to get new people to come out and become aware of what's going on at events, especially at our market. We had some great promotions as per usual, which always helps bring in local people as well as some people from our neighboring towns. We had some great promotions from our Taste Real partnership from a county level. The Market Bucks continues to be a strong one of those promotions to get people out to the market. According to these numbers, there's over $2,800 spent in Market Bucks between June and September, which is overwhelming, to be honest with you. The market box, which was an initiative from Taste Real, it was pretty cool because it was a countywide initiative, and so people could get a market box every week throughout the summer from different farmers markets throughout the county. And Minto's sold out, so that was great. It contained items from each vendor and kind of showcased Minto as well as the market. And then there was another pretty cool initiative, which was the market trail. So individuals from, I guess, really anywhere in Ontario could get one of these market trail passports, and they would get a stamp from each market as they went to our market, Drayton's, and anywhere else throughout the county. And they would collect them and pass them in to get some sort of a prize. So that was really cool because that brought up people from like Guelph and all areas of the county up to our market. So that was, I hope to do that again. It was really well receptive from what we could tell. Promotions into 2022. We're planning on doing our trivia night. We had it lined up to do it in person at the Palmerston Legion. I'm kind of thinking that's going to be online again, but we've gotten pretty used to doing that online the last 2 years, so we will prevail. Fiscally, we are in good financial shape from that standpoint. Once again, great support from the town. Our fundraisers this past year, which was just the trivia fundraiser, was a good boon to helping keep our costs covered at the market. So I guess that's all I really had to say. I don't know if Aaron has anything else to add, or if there's any questions from council.
Go ahead, Aaron. Did you want to add anything, or?
No, I think Luke pretty much covered it all. I think it was a really good market season, even though we were stuck with our whole COVID things again, where people are getting pretty used to how it runs. So I'm just glad we were able to do it this way.
Yeah. And Ella was a great help. I know I talked to her a few times. She really got into it, and I love to see that, the young person coming on, and hopefully there'll be things in the future for her and with working with the town. So she did an excellent job. The boxes, I bought one, the Minto ones, and the interesting thing on that, I don't know, Luke, if you realize, but when we had the presentation for Taste Real at the county, they talked about the fact that the majority of the boxes weren't sold locally. Like, they were sold, like, people would buy boxes from Aaron, or they buy boxes from Minto, and so you got the local people got their product out there to right across the county, which I thought was quite amazing. And I do believe that'll be coming back. I think from the Taste Real standpoint, they felt that was a big success. So just about getting everybody understanding that all these markets exist in Wellington County. So again, great to see the numbers up. I'll turn it over to the council if they want to make any comments or ask any questions. Go ahead. I'm seeing none. Okay. Oh, there's Judy. Go ahead, Judy.
Well, I feel like somebody should say congratulations again to Luke and the crew. Luke, you've been just such a strong supporter of this market ever since it started, and we really appreciate your efforts. And Aaron, it is definitely great to have you on board, and appreciate your efforts as well in this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Judy.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks everybody for that. And again, I'm looking forward to the next market next year. So let's have a good one. And now that you've got your site all redone, and that was another thing you had to deal with. You had to deal with while they were fixing your boardwalk. So that was another issue. But I'll tell you that the whole crew over there, they seem to any little thing that props up that causes some worry, they seem to just put it aside and get the job done. So it's all done really well. I know when they seem to handle any of those conflicts that arise. So thanks again. Thanks for your report tonight.
Thank you very much for the support. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good Christmas.
You too. Thanks, George. Bye.
Okay. And we have another delegation tonight, and Christine is with us. See Christine? I think. Is she coming on board, Annalee?
She is, Mayor Bridge. Just give her a moment, and I see that
there
she's
she
just
is.
joining now, and we will ask her to unmute and start her video as well.
Hi,
Hi, Christine. How are you tonight?
I'm very good. I had
Good.
to
I see you got your hat on too.
grab
That's
my
good.
hat once I saw you with yours.
Yeah, and I must say, this is another group that's done wonders for the county, and I'm looking forward to your report tonight. So go ahead, Christine.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Actually, good evening now. Thank you, Mayor Bridge and esteemed councillors, for giving Safe Communities Wellington County the opportunity to address you regarding the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Christine Viet, the Program Coordinator for Safe Communities Wellington County. Before I get into any details about the plan, I want to give you a quick refresher on Safe Communities Wellington County. As I mentioned, I'm the designated administration person for Safe Communities Wellington County. I've had the privilege to work with many different people and organizations throughout my years with Safe Communities, and going forward in 2022, we have a few new additions and changes. Our new co-chairs are Staff Sergeant Stephen Thomas, who has been voted in for a 2-year term, and Angel Abel, the chair of the Safe Communities Committee here in the town of Minto, who has 1 year left in her term. Our executive also includes a representative from Guelph Wellington Paramedic Services, Chief Stephen Dewar, a representative from Wellington Dufferin Guelph Public Health, Anna Vanderland, Wellington County Councillor Campbell Cork, Wellington County OPP Inspector Paul Richardson, and new to our executive is Kate Cobies from the Wellington Healthcare Alliance. Now on to the plan. Just to review, the Ministry of the Solicitor General mandated all municipalities to create their own community safety and well-being plan. Wellington County, through Safe Communities Wellington County, was able to create and complete the community safety and well-being plan for the whole of Wellington County that encompassed all of the municipalities. All municipalities agreed to support Safe Communities in the process of creating the community safety and well-being plan, and for that, I thank you. Now on to the real work. The framework, as was mentioned in our previous presentation, is intended to be holistic and requires planning at all levels. Community safety and well-being planning is a collaborative process to ensure that services are working together. As I've already mentioned, our executive alone is made up of residents, municipal council, emergency services, the County of Wellington, Wellington Dufferin Guelph Public Health, and the list goes on, right? And on our leadership table, we have representatives from our family health teams, education, not-for-profits, and businesses. So we have a fantastic group of individuals collaborating already. I hope you've had the opportunity to look at the plan that has been completed and submitted prior to the July 1st, 2021 deadline. So I did want to I was hoping for an in-person delegation.
I know.
And I waited. It's not happening.
No.
So it was submitted on July 1st, actually prior to. So we met the deadline, and so we were one of the few municipalities that actually met the deadline, which is great. The Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan was designed to be a strategic document written at the macro level to allow interchangeability based on the fluid needs and priorities of each municipality. Consider the plan as a guideline and a place to start to improve safety and well-being in the town of Minto. So what do we need you to do? Okay, so if we can show or if you're able to flip to pages like 7 to 13, like it kind of shows kind of the processes, our priorities and the statistics that we kind of put together in order to put the plan together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you able to see it? Okay, cool. So at the beginning, there are statistics as well as information about the priority setting exercise. And finally, a listing of the priorities that need to be addressed through the leadership table and each municipality. We need every single municipality to either have a Safe Communities group, which you do, or have constant representation on the leadership table to ensure each municipality is participating in to, again, improve community safety and well-being within their municipality. Although you have representation from Angel Abel on behalf of the Minto Safe Communities Group, we need a little bit more collaboration between the Safe Communities Group and the municipality to ensure your report includes the priorities for the township and the Safe Communities Group. We don't want anything to go missing because you're doing some amazing stuff. So I'll leave that up to you on how you want to organize that, though I can be reached out to provide any assistance that you need. Each municipality is required to provide an annual update to the Safe Communities Leadership Table that will be in line with the calendar year. Don't worry, you're not on the hook until December of 2022 to complete yours. I'll provide you with a template well in advance of you having to submit. In order for the town of Minto to follow what was mandated by the province of Ontario, there needs to be, as I said, a little bit more collaboration because you want this document to represent the whole of the town of Minto, not just the Safe Communities Group. Here's the good news. While originally we thought that there would be drastic differences in the priorities of each municipality, there actually wasn't. But that definitely does not mean that every municipality will have the same strategies. What we decide to do at a county level may be different from what you want to do, and we want to make sure that each municipality shines to show the extraordinary strategies you've put in place and who you've partnered with to keep your municipality safe and well. What success will look like? The goal of the municipality is to mitigate situations of elevated risk, proactively identify those risks, then promote and support programs that achieve successful outcomes. Those are a lot of words, and this brings us to the model once again. So if we can go to page 6, or it might be 7. It's the bullet. Yep, here it is. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So the social development side, address the underlying causes of social issues through upstream approaches that promote and maintain individual and community wellness. This includes opportunities for employment, income, adequate housing, access to education, and other supports that promote social and economic inclusion. I loved what I heard in the previous presentation about the market bucks. That's a great example of something that, your partnership with the County of Wellington Social Services and the market bucks, which is fantastic. Prevention. Apply proactive strategies to known and identified risks that are likely to result in harm to individuals or communities if left unmitigated. Another great example, so you have tons of wonderful things that you're doing. Great example for the town of Minto is the partnership with the Integrated Youth Services Network and the Grove Hub, as well as the amazing work that Minto Mental Health is doing as well. So social development and prevention are the areas we want to focus on, which we can focus on, right? The other two areas within the levels of intervention are risk intervention, identifying and responding to situations of acutely elevated risk, and mobilizing immediate interventions before an emergency or crisis-driven response is required. For example, that's an example of a situation table. Then we go to emergency response, circumstances that require intervention by first responders. For example, police, paramedics, or other crisis-driven services in the human services system. For example, homelessness, eviction, mental health crisis. So this isn't specific to the township, to the town of Minto, but just recently, the partnership with Loyola House and now the Holiday Inn Express to help with homelessness across Wellington County. Another fantastic initiative, it's amazing. The framework recognizes that it is beneficial to maximize efforts in the outer rings to reduce harm to individuals who have their needs met before the situation escalates into a crisis, and to prevent increases in demand for more costly downstream interventions with police and other emergency response systems. So if we can move to page 18, it's the issues for preliminary attention. Yep, this is it here. Aside from our leadership table, We also have our action groups that are following our preliminary issues for attention. Currently, we have on and off road safety, falls, mental wellness, and accidental poisonings. And if I was in person, I would look at Councillor Anderson. This year, we would like to add a forum or action group dedicated to creating an action plan to improve the safety of vulnerable road users, as well as increasing safety protocols within organized sport organizations and coordinate efforts to reduce agriculture-related injuries. Further, all of the action groups will be supported by evidence to ensure we have greater impact on the safety and well-being of the residents of the town of Minto and across Wellington County. Finally, to briefly summarize what is required over the next 12 months for the town of Minto. 1, attendance and participation at Safe Communities Leadership Table meetings. Angel already participates on these at this table and attends, and same with Khalees Lou is also in attendance as well. January, March, May, June, September, and November. Number 2, create and or support strategies for the preliminary issues for attention, which we have right in front of us. Number 3, your representative is encouraged to join or champion an action group. Tick for you, you got it. And 4, finally submit your annual update in December 2022. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Great. Thanks, Christine. I'll turn to, there we go. We're back to her. Any questions? Councillor Elliott. There you go.
Yes, I think the group's great. We got a great group in Minto working for us, and thank you for that presentation. One of the biggest, I say many times, I've got calls throughout our town about speeders, like coming, all our communities have main highways coming in and out of our town, and they don't seem to slow down until they get to the main intersection of the communities. It's a little scary for kids going back and forth for school and seniors going across the street and such like. I'm sure this has been a concern that's brought to your group, and I don't believe it's just Minto. I believe it's across the way. We all have connecting links where people come into our big trucks come into our community, cars. We have a couple of groups, we call them the fast and furious guys. They want to show how quick their cars are and such like. So that's an issue that maybe you could send back to your group, and maybe we could attack it as a group. I'm not sure whether you have or is there something that you could do to help us with that?
Yes, through you, Mayor Bridge.
Sure.
Yes, that's actually it's our actually number one priority, the motor vehicle collisions. So we are working diligently with the OPP, trying to figure out the hot spots and figure out what we can do as a community group to be able to support them so it doesn't get to the enforcement piece, right? As I mentioned, we don't want to get to the emergency response. We want to make sure that we try and prevent and we educate, right? So that's why there's a lot of different things that we do throughout the year with the National Teen Driver Safety Week, as well as like just in general, like when I on social media posts and when I try and put together some education surrounding distracted driving, aggressive driving and such, kind of informing people of these things. And actually we're going to be launching a, take 10 minutes campaign. It's another strategy in order to take an extra 10 minutes so that you add an extra 10 minutes to your, like when you're hopping in the car. And so you're not aggressively speeding and you're not wanting to you're not late for work or for a party or such. So that's going to be coming up next week, actually.
I found, and we have them, we have a couple in our town, is those digital speeding signs where you're coming roaring into town. And I've done this. I'll be going, like you're coming out of 80 and all of a sudden you're into a 50. So you drop to a 70 and you think, oh, that's good. It feels really slow now. And then you look at the sign and go, whoa, I got to get down to a 50. So I found that has really helped. I think most cars, when they see that digital sign, they don't realize they're coming in as fast as they do until they get to the mid part of town where everything's congested. That's when they start to slow down. So maybe more of those would be, it would help, just for a suggestion.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Bridge. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I agree when you see that sign. And there's also other things that can be done as well, not just the sign. And there's a lot of paintings to actually, so that you're not just all of a sudden getting to that sign. You've got the slow down on the pavement, and that will, will be far, like about a kilometer up, to make sure that people do realize that they have to decrease their speed because they are entering a town, right? So there are a lot of different partnerships that are available, especially talking with the county and figuring out with the roads crew what can be done. When is the painting of the lines going to be happening? So, so that it makes it easier for you to be able to kind of implement those strategies for calming zones, right? So that are high traffic areas. So yeah, like I'm so excited to listen to you speak about it, because it's great. Like I'm passionate.
Don't get me wrong. I think your committee's doing great stuff, and I'm just giving a couple suggestions what I would see to help. And like, it's the biggest complaint I got, but all that other stuff you were talking about is great, and we really appreciate what you're doing. I'm not criticizing you.
Oh,
So on that, Ron, and to give you an idea, and Christine will know this, and because she's been part of the process, is we're doing the master roads in the Wellington County, and part of what, if you get a chance to go on it, it's a large document, but a lot of the calming issues that she's talking about, they went to the safe communities and got feedback, Christine, on that, I believe, and I know that when we had the debate at the county level, that was brought up, the fact that working with the OPP and the safe communities, some of these things like that Councillor Elliott brought up, these are all things that we're going to be looking for in the future, and we're trying to get a plan together and be able to come back out with us. And so some of it we can do locally, Ron, and some of it will have to be done through the county and even through the province if it's an MTO road. But these are all been looked at, and it's a big issue. It's not just in Minto, it's everywhere. And I know Christine handled it really well when she said that what we're talking about, because a lot of the stuff that you were talking about certainly was in that report.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah. Councillor Anderson.
Hi there.
Reggie.
Hi, Christine. Nice to hear your report. So our second issue is falls amongst seniors. And when you look at the amount of hospital days that are spent with falls, and when we look at the data we have on the muscle wastage and the decrease in their mobility and their levels of returning back to their previous level of activity with just a few short days in hospital, our seniors are getting unnoticed in the midst of COVID because they're not being seen by their doctors. They're having virtual visits. So is there thoughts of expanding or putting more funding into that paramedic program where they're checking in on people that are high risk? And I don't know that we have enough of those people identified as high risk, because again, they need to see their doctor. So the emergency department seeing unprecedented numbers of people who are coming in with a not very urgent problem, but they're coming because somebody needs to see it rather than talk to them over the telephone. So I don't know if the group is talking about that. I don't know if we have any way of swaying the physicians to do more hands-on visits, and that's probably going to change now again with the change in COVID status. But our seniors, and I mean, entering another year, a second year, they're not seeing family, they're not seeing their doctors, they're not seeing their workers. They're just out there on their own, and they're getting weaker and sicker and more inclined to falls. And that's when we find them, when we get that EMS call.
I know that through you, Mary Bridge. Yeah, so I totally agree with you, Jean. It is tough, and our falls action group, again, so we've got motor vehicle, like the on and off road safety, and then we have falls as our second priority. and it is so crucial, and that's why it's up there. It's actually the reason the motor vehicle collisions replaced falls as the #1, just because we did have an uptake of aggressive driving, but falls has always been up there. It's always been #1. So so our falls group, so we did increase, like, so for us as a Safe Communities group, we ended up increasing funding to each of our groups, our action groups, in order to be able to do stuff. So that's one thing that we've done as well. We have a ton of individuals that are on the Falls Action Group that are doing some fantastic, having some fantastic strategies surrounding working with Victoria Order of Nurses. I realize COVID is not ideal, and unfortunately people are unable to see their physicians, go to their exercise classes, but Victoria Order of Nurses, who is on the action group as well, is doing the virtual exercise classes. It's not the same, not the same, but and I'm not entirely sure. I will double check to see if they are still doing the exercise classes at with the paramedicine program at the there's the Gordon Street Apartments. So it's not up in Minto, but I do know that they were doing exercise classes at the Gordon Street Apartments in Wellington County, at like just at in Fergus, and but they were looking to expand that as well. And so they are trying to identify, I do know that the paramedicine program tries to identify different areas of higher risk. So, so because they started in Guelph, right? And then they identified the Gordon Street Apartments. So they are slowly trying to.
Well, and it's a funding thing. It's a great program, but the biggest problem is identifying the people who need the help. And I think we have a very distinct group of people who are not connected through electronics, and that's the highest risk group. There's no way to really get to those people now. And I don't know, I'd like to see some sort of a buddy system where we can link them up with somebody who at least phones them every day, so that there's some kind of a check-in system, because we're just not getting to those folks. I mean, the Seniors Excellence Center for Seniors has done some great programs. Different church groups have done different great programs, but almost all of them are computer oriented. And that really high risk group of frail elderly seniors, we don't have a way of connecting with them. So I don't know, maybe I need to get onto one of these groups in my spare time and see if I can help with that, because I worry so much about the state of our seniors. It's really unfortunate. And as this drags on, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, I agree. So
well, thanks for those comments, Jean. And again, thanks, Christine, for all your hard work, and tell your committee and the group appreciate all they're doing. And probably Derek will probably get a hold of you and figure out what we need to do a little extra if we need some extra stuff to do. It was great hearing that you want a bit more feedback. Derek, can I put that to your plate?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
And I'd be thrilled to be involved if there.
And I know, Jean, you and I just and Jean, I don't know where you find the time for all the stuff you do, but certainly I know you're passionate about this. But
we got to take care of our old folks. They created this lovely land we live in.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, because I'm getting old.
Yep. So am I. I want the system to be robust when I get there.
Exactly. Anyways, thanks a lot, Christine, for bringing this to us. And I'm sorry we couldn't have it live. I'm too bad you waited and we just couldn't get her done. But we'll be there helping you where we can.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, now I have moved by Councillor McKenzie, second by Councillor Elliott, the Council of Town of Minto receives the correspondence for information. Does anybody want to pull anything out of the correspondence? Seeing none. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay. Reports from staff. And I will turn the chair over to Councillor Elliott at this point in time for an exciting announcement. Go ahead, Councillor Elliott. You got to get off mute there. Now I'm on mute telling you to get off mute.
I said
Can't
I'm
hear you.
pretty excited. I
go.
couldn't even get to the mute. Yeah, I'll turn it over to Matt.
Okay. All right.
Right on. Thank you, Councillor Elliott. As you can see, a lot's happened since the grant announcement on April the 9th and our first report on April the 14th. We've been able to get the stone dust infield and fencing poles installed for the new third diamond this fall. As noted, that gives us or gives the field a chance to be playable in 2022 and be of benefit for the many tournaments that we host in Palmerston. The major portion of the project, though, as noted in the comments, is the dressing room expansion and the new LED lighting for the Bar Bright Diamond. So we issued a request for pre-qualification on September the 2nd, and we had 11 companies ask for the document, of which 3 applied and 2 were pre-qualified for this type of project.
Thought it was in my purse.
The RFP was issued on October 15th and was due on November 29th. And both submissions met the criteria of the RFP. And of these 2 submissions, the lump sum price submitted by Dom Construction Limited was the low bid and fell below the project budget of 2.1 million. Their construction timeline would see the project start around April the 1st with substantial completion by September. And I just want to point out that we do acknowledge that the Ag Society runs a variety of events on these grounds leading up to the annual fall fair, and every effort will be made to mitigate any possible disruptions to these events during the construction window. That's what I've got.
Okay, I just want to mention the Ag Society. We have Susan Youngblood as part of our committee, and she's very informative and on top of things, and she brings, so we know what we're dealing with the ag, and they're very cooperative too. It's a good group. Okay, I'll read the motion and then I'll ask for questions. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turton and seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the Council of the Town of Minto receives the Director of Community Services report regarding the ICIP project at the Palmerston Arena. And further, that the Council of the Town of Minto awards the Palmerston and District Community Center Dressing Rooms Edition and Ball Diamond LED lighting design build project to Dom Construction for the total price of $2,034,589,000 plus HST. One of those, either millions or thousands, and I think that's somewhere in there. So they're a great company, and I certainly support the motion. Any questions or comments? Yes, Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, not a question, Chairman Elliott. I mean, this is really good stuff. It's really amazing. I mean, I was a member of the Marlins for years, and our ball diamonds in Palmerston and in Minto have been second to none. We get all kinds of comments, and all this third diamond is going to do is enhance it. And I mean, one of the things that was a negative for us getting provincials and Canadian championships here was possibly that third ball diamond, because that and accommodations. And so, I mean, that's really going to help us out. And this enhancement on the arena, I mean, it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, the ballpark and the arena, and it's really great. I think it's wonderful.
Yep. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Mayor Bridge.
Yeah, just more of a comment, Councillor Elliott. I just want to thank the committee. I know you had a great committee that I was able to make very few meetings, so you did it. And I got to the last one when you actually did this, and I thought, what a great committee, and the feedback you got, and your talk about the fact that with our partner at the Agricultural Society, how well they worked with us, and the fact that we're hopefully going to be able to they'll be able to do everything if they can, with COVID being gone, hopefully by the summer, but let's face it, and we hope this year they'll be able to do all the things that they wanted to do. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm with Deputy Mayor Turton with the third ball diamond. It opens up a lot of possibilities for some really good events coming there. So I just want to say thank you to the group and to Steve, who was the project chair on this, and that did a great job of getting things the way they are. And I saw the picture. I mean, you look at the picture, it almost looks like it's always been there. It's going to be really, really well looked at, and I think people will really enjoy it. And the timing on it, the fact that it's going to be done hopefully by the fall and ready for the next hockey season. So it's going to be good for us to get this project up and running. And I would like to thank the other 2 levels of government as well. This is the first time in a long time that we were able to apply for any kind of funding for a sporting event or like a recreational facility. And we finally was able to apply for one and got it. So I really appreciate the federal and the provincial government's participation in this, because as a small town, we wouldn't be able to do this without their help, which is well appreciated. So thank you for being on the committee and doing all the hard work as well. And Derek, for your leadership on this, and Matt, thank you very much.
Yeah, and if you get to the arena, you can see on the wall just before the entrance into the arena is we've got signs in support of the governments and the people that are putting their money. Huge signs. The guys did a great job of putting that up. Matt, I don't know whether we should. Did you mention the kitchen at all? Should we?
So yeah, Councillor Elliott, that was something that we included in the 2022 capital budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something else that we'll be looking at in 2022, but separate from this project.
But as we're doing it, that's going to be part of the project.
Yeah, in terms of what we're going to be left with, we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful facility with a nice experience if you're there to use the ice, or a nice experience if you're there to use the auditorium.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And Councillor Dirksen.
Just wanted to comment that it's great to have a local contractor doing a project of this size in our town. Very happy about that. And can you just remind me again, who is the project manager? Like, who is going to kind of be working with our contractor?
Steve Hardy is from
Right.
Steve, yeah, he actually worked fairly hard. He's had a lot of years experience, and they did up at Port Elgin, they did the arena, and he was involved in all that and such like. So he certainly got the experience, and he's just done a whale of a job. His research and what we were looking for, it's just, he quite amazed me. He did a really good job. I'm sure that you see that too, George.
Oh yeah, that's it. I meant to. I should have did Steve's whole name there, Judy. Sorry. I thought, Steve did an excellent job.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's who you were talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay. Anyone opposed to the motions? That's carried. I'll turn the chair back to Mayor Bridge.
Thank you, Ron, and I'll turn it over to I think Councillor Dirksen. Yeah. Go ahead, Judy.
Okay. Maybe Councillor Elliott was going to continue on doing that, but anyways, okay, so looks like our roads and drainage manager is here, so I'll turn it over to Mike McIsaac to take us through the report.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen. We're looking at doing some grass cutting. Thinking of it at Christmas time, so it's kind of nice. So we sent tenders out and received them on December 2nd for the 52 municipally owned various properties throughout the community of the various sizes and shapes and different levels of service required for each of the items. We did receive 3 bids from Culp's Lawn Care, from Mapleton, Paramount Landscapes out of Burlington, Hamilton area, and Wright Landscape Services from Bloomingdale. Site visits were completed with town staff with Culp's Lawn Care and Paramount Landscapes just to get a firsthand look at the locations and the expectations along the way. And the pricing received from Culp's includes virtually a 2% increase over what they've currently been completing the work for. And then the other, there is that larger section of the Rotary Park in Clifford, which is no longer going to be able to be completed by volunteer services up there. Is there any questions at this point?
Okay, Looks like you've wowed them with your report.
Oh, sorry, Judy, I just
Oh, sorry, Mayor Bridge.
meant more of a comment, and Mike, it's sad to see that the Rotary Park is going to be turned over. I know the gentleman that did the Rotary Park for years and years and years, and I'm sure if his site has left him. My name escapes me. Do you remember,
Matt would have to help me with that one.
Matt?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Bridge. For the last few years, it's been Merle
Merle.
Freeland. Yeah, Merle Freeland.
Yeah,
I
Merle.
believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did a great job, and but I know he was doing it almost because he couldn't. He told me the last time he did it, he just does it because he knows the whole thing, but he couldn't see that well anymore. But yeah, so I just want to make sure, Matt, maybe we should do something to recognize his contribution over the years.
Can certainly do that. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, Judy, go ahead.
That is okay. I'm just needing to find the right page here. Okay, so this recommendation is moved by Councillor Gunson and seconded by Councillor Anderson. The Council of the Town of Minto received the report from the Roads and Drainage Manager and Director of Community Services dated December 21st, 2021 regarding the Municipal Property Lawn Maintenance 2022 to 2024 tender results. And further, that Council of the Town of Minto awards tender 2021-10 municipal property lawn maintenance at a per cut price of $4,951 per plus HST for 2022 and 2023. And further, that the Council of the Town of Minto awards tender 2021-10 municipal property lawn maintenance at a per cut price of $5,193 plus HST for 2024 upon town staff and the owners of Culp's Lawn Care are in mutual agreement upon the completion of the 2023 season. Okay, any further questions? Councillor McKenzie?
Yeah, Judy, does that contract include turf maintenance, like fertilizing and trimming, all that good stuff? Or is it just cutting grass?
You'd have to ask.
It is just cutting the grass. There is additional costs associated with the aeration and fertilizing of the sports fields.
And do they do that too, or?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Matt could verify that as well.
Okay,
Yeah, what you said, Mike, is accurate.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, anyone else? Last call? Okay, is there anyone opposed to the recommendation? And that carries, and I'll pass the chair back to Mayor Bridge.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Councillor. And I'll turn it over to Deputy Mayor Turton to chair the next bit.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. We've got 4 items on the Treasury list here. I'd like to welcome our 2 treasurers, Treasurer Duff and Treasurer Potter. So basically, I will go through the first 3 and then I'll declare a conflict on the 4th one and pass it over to you, Mayor Bridge. So the first item here is the fees and charges for 2022. Go ahead, Treasurer Duff.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Turton. Yes, a few days before Christmas, but we've got a lot on the go for this meeting. So I guess first up, we have the rates and fees. So Mark's put together a very friendly and detailed guide, I hope here. And in the report, we kind of note the changes. There aren't a lot of changes. There's minor ones for administrative finance fees. There's some small increases in community services. Again, we're mindful of the COVID and the economic times and the impact on user groups. So there's been a lot of thought going into these proposals. There's been an increase on parking and some minor ones on licenses. Cemetery, we put in a little bit more again. That's one that it always seems to be hard to get, an increase compared to operating costs. But again, we want to be mindful of our cemeteries that surround us in other municipalities and going rates as well as increasing costs. Water and sewer has large changes, but they've all been discussed in great detail earlier in the year. And you will probably recall these were slated to come into effect January 1st, 21. And again, in view of the COVID situation, we delayed the implementation until 2022. And planning, Terry's taken a preliminary review and put through a few changes, and he'll always want to look at it again. But anyway, there's a lot of detail here, but if you do have any questions, we'll certainly try and answer them.
So we have read the recommendation, and then we'll have questions. So the treasurer's fees and charges was recommended, moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Anderson, that the Council of Town of Minto receives the report from the treasurer dated December 15th, 2021 regarding the 2022 rates and fees, that the user fee changes proposed for 2022 in Appendix 1 in this report be approved, and that the Council of the Town of Minto considers passage of the related bylaw in open session. Questions for Gord and Mark? I mean, this is the second year, I think, that we've seen this document, and there is a pile of information on this document. So questions? Perfect. The document is well done. So I'd like to thank Mark and Gord for putting this together. And I will call for anyone opposed to this motion, raise their hand. Seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you. So we'll move along to the 2022 operating and capital budget adoption, and we'll ask Treasurer Duff to speak on this.
Again, thank you, Chair Turton. So this is basically putting our money where our mouth is. We've had our meeting on the operating budget, the capital budget, and last week we had a public open house on it. There are no huge changes here. It's going forward as was discussed, and we have a few, highlights. Again, the 2.2% levy and the estimated 0.85% individual typical property tax change. A bit of a graph of where we're spending, and again, I think it's a pretty good approach. It goes back to our theme, which I think the mayor started off this meeting highlighting our growth. So that's what we're trying to do. Anyway, and there will be related bylaws later in the meeting too to consider. So again, take any questions, but.
Thank you, Treasurer Duff. So the recommendation is moved by Mayor Bridge, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that the Council of the Town of Minto receives the report from the treasurer dated December 15th, 2021 regarding the 2022 operating and capital budget adoption, and that the Council of the Town of Minto considers the passage of the related bylaw in open session. Questions for Gord or Mark or Derek? Seeing none, yeah, on behalf of Council, Gord, I'd like to thank you and Mark and staff for doing all this work. I mean, we had 3 great meetings. The last one, there was not a lot of participation from our ratepayers, but that I'm hoping that that's telling us something. I mean, it was it was on our website, and we certainly are transparent in reference to our budget. So no questions. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed to, please raise their hand on this. Seeing none, that is carried as well. Thank you very much. So we'll move along to the Clifford Library lease renewals. Treasurer Duff, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to silence my phone here. People don't realize it's still council. So anyway, again, and I want to express my appreciation for the staff and council in going through the budget process. I think a very good discussion again. So this is another, I would say, the good news report. you may recall, especially Chair Turton, that we have been partners with the county and the family health team and local doctors since 2005 in the Clifford Medical Center, and it has been a great success and really meets a community need. So the leases we're talking about tonight actually came due a few months ago, but with healthcare being very busy, we're busy. And the missing piece is this is really a sublease because the town of Minto rents the space from the county of Wellington, and we in turn lease to the family health team and the local doctor. So the county lease was up for review at the end of this year. Wellington County has agreed to a 5-year extension with no changes in terms. So I'm basically proposing a renewal of these leases again with no changes. So that's what's contained in this report, and again, related bylaws.
Thank you, Treasurer Duff. So recommendation moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that the town of Minto receives the Treasurer's Clifford Medical Center leases report and considers a bylaw in regular session authorizing the mayor and the clerk to sign the lease agreement. Questions for Treasurer? Yes, Treasurer Duff, I do remember that year our mayor was Mayor Burns, and I know that, and I forget, was it you, Councillor McKenzie, that was our Ward 1 county councillor? Help me out with this.
It was Councillor Connell.
Councillor Connell, okay.
Connell.
Yep, and so I know how much work that they did down at the county, you know, when this library was going up with the addition of the medical center, and it's been a great addition for Clifford, and people have rallied around, and we've had doctors there and nurses, and it's been great for Clifford. So so I'm going to call the question. Mayor Bridge.
I just wanted to comment on that. I was very appreciative of the county not raising the rent on this, because I think they realize that what a value it is for the overall town of Clifford and how Clifford has grown. And without this, when you talk about growth and why people come to a community, and one of them is medical care, and the library and the medical care being in the same building, I know they get a lot of crossovers, and it's a great addition to the town. And whoever was involved, Deputy Mayor Turton, whoever was involved in the council back then, and both at the county and the local level, what a great insight, I must say. And we're reaping the rewards. So that's just my only comment. Thank you.
So I'm going to call the question and ask for anyone opposed to raise their hand. Seeing none, that motion is carried, and I'm going to pass the chair back to our mayor, and I'm going to take a break.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Turton. And I got the next one up, and I will turn it over to Gord Duff to do the presentation. Go ahead, Gord.
Great, thanks, Mayor Bridge. So this is minutes of settlement. So that means it's a tax matter that's gone to the Assessment Review Board. Just a few items this time. One is changing a matter of fact on an assessment, and a few reclassifications, mostly in the rural areas relating to exempt, which usually means wetland, and also a flip from residential to farmland. So again, our total share on this one is 2,635, and the total taxes are 6,391. So certainly take any questions or
questions for Gord. Pretty well housekeeping item, comes a lot just every now and again. So thanks, Gord, for the explanation. And I get it moved by Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Dirksen. The council receives the December 2021 report for the Treasurer and Revenue Coordinator regarding assessment adjustments, and that these adjustments be approved. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we can get Deputy Mayor Turton back on now. Okay, and now it's back to me anyway, so I'll just take it over. And basically ask Quinn to do a presentation on our council chamber renovation update. Go ahead, Councillor Quinn. I'm going to make you councillor there. You don't want to take the cut and pay. So anyways, but it's nice to see Quinn. And I did get a chance when I was in the other day Quinn gave me a sort of an overview. So it's kind of neat to see. Go ahead, Quinn.
Yeah, so through you, Mayor Bridge, to members of council, I know at the last council meeting, there was a few questions about how the renovation was going and what the plans are. So now that we have them all finalized, just thought I'd bring a quick report to let everyone know what we have planned and just make sure that you have all the information that I have and there are no surprises. So I know it's been quite a while since we've all been together in chambers, but if you could try and remember what it looks like now, I'll try and paint a picture of what it should look like when we're done. So currently, as you know, the council desk has room for the mayor, the deputy mayor, the council, and the clerk. Our CAO sits off to the side. He has his own private 3-panel desk, but we are going to take that desk and attach it to one end of the council desk, and then we're going to have an identical 3-panel desk built to be attached to the other side of council. The desk that's currently earmarked for media is a 2-panel desk, so we're going to try and repurpose that somewhere else in the room. But adding these 2 desks will allow CAO Thompson to sit up on the platform with council and be available to answer questions or be of any help during meetings. There he is. He's very excited. So in order to allow us to add these desks, the platform that the council desk sits on right now will need to be extended on each side. So the platform that comes out the side that Councillor Dirksen, Councillor Anderson sits on will go right to the wall. And then we're going to have a removable ramp built that we can put in storage that we can pull out whenever we need to ensure that chambers and the desk in particular are accessible in the future when they need to be. The wall behind the council desk is going to have some wainscoting added to it to create a more professional and institutional backdrop for council during our videos. And it will be painted, I believe it's called Hail Navy. There's a color swatch in the report. This navy will show really well on camera and council will really pop in front of it. That navy will then continue throughout the room under the chair rail that divides the wall. And then the upper portion of the wall will be white dove, which should really brighten up the room. And then that off-white color will extend up onto the ceiling. The window coverings then will also be updated to match the new color scheme. The flooring in council chambers, as I'm sure you know, has also seen better days. So we will be replacing it with a gray carpet tile, which has a charcoal and blue sort of running through it that will pull the navy nicely from the walls. The flooring hides dirt really well and it dampens sound really well, which is important for our videos. And because it's a carpet tile rather than a carpet, if in the future anything were to happen to a portion of it, we can rip it up in smaller chunks and we don't have to replace the flooring in the entire room. And then lastly, we are updating the lighting in the room. Half of our lights right now are a yellowish tone and half of them are white. So we're going to be replacing them so that they all have that white tone to them, which again will brighten up the room and work really well for videos. So I can answer any questions that you might have, but I'm really excited to see how it all comes together.
Yeah, thanks, Quinn. And any questions? I can't wait to see us pop the council pop, right? I mean that's a real good term. We're gonna pop out of the woodwork there. Councillor Elliott, did you have a question or were you?
I sure did. Great job. I think it's gonna be really good, and we certainly council sure needs to pop.
Yeah.
Bring forward. But the question I have is the sound system. Is it changing at all? Will everybody have their individual mics?
Yes. So in November, when we brought the report about upgrading all the audio visual, so Balaclava has ordered us another microphone to put up on the desk for CAO Thompson, and then we are getting new microphones for the staff desk as well that are more, they're the same as the ones that are on the council desk, so they pick up people talking better than, I guess the ones we have right now are actually made for singing, so you're supposed to be really close to them, whereas yours pick up sound from further away. So we are getting those, which should also help with our videos and people being able to hear us as we speak.
Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Anderson, then Deputy Mayor Turton. Go ahead, Councilor Anderson.
All right. Just, are they going to put some plugs into the desk along the front for charging laptops that sometimes run out of charge? Because right now there's one plug sort of behind every 2 or 3 chairs. But I wonder if there's a thought about putting a power source along the desk so that people can plug in their laptops.
I don't know. Derek, do you want to take that, or Quinn?
Yeah, no, I can certainly take that. So through you to Council Anderson, we can certainly look in that in the design of the desk, since we're working on it anyway. We just have to be cognizant of the budget. But if we're doing work under that channel anyway, I don't see that as being overly cumbersome. So we'll certainly look at that, adding some more electrical outlets for charging different devices and such.
Good point.
Perfect, because I just find there's times when you come in and you either haven't charged or it didn't take a charge the way you thought it would, and you're going, oops, and we're all sort of reaching behind us to try and find one cord. So just as we're working on it, seems something to look at anyway.
Yeah,
we need an electronic buzzer for the mayor to be able to push. We get a little buzz in the chair when.
Oh, Council Elliott, that'll be installed when we put the ejection seat in.
Yeah, ejection seats. Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Turton. Now, what you wanted to talk about the ejection seat, or did you want to?
No, Mayor Bridge. I was just wondering timelines and who's doing the work.
Oh, Quinn?
Or have we?
Sorry, go ahead.
So have we got, like, are we that far ahead, or am I jumping ahead?
I have spoken to a number of, the designer that we've been using, and she said because the approval is so close to Christmas, all of the contractors should be able to start right away. And it's the perfect time sort of to do it while there's not really anybody out there, and they won't kind of be in the way of the day-to-day operations. All of our contractors are local. We're using various people from the town of Minto. I don't remember who they are off the top of my head, but I can certainly get you the list. But they are all local. That was one thing that we really stressed when we hired the designer, is we wanted all the contractors to be from Minto. So that is what she did for us.
Perfect. So it's full speed ahead. Local people, that's perfect, Gwen. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Any other questions? Judy, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the report, Quinn. Obviously, a lot of work's gone into it, and appreciate that. I thought it was kind of interesting under the comments. You said the desk that council sits at has space for, and so that's actually a list of 8 people, and it was actually built for 6. And so we're going to make it 9 people, I think, now, because we're on the CAO and the clerk at the desk, I think, from what I understand. So anyways, just yeah, we just have to make sure that we do have that elbow room, and I think especially now that we know we're not supposed to be sitting on top of each other. Yeah, I'm just, yeah, as long as we have that room and that space, I think that'll be great. And then I don't have to share a drawer.
Yeah, I think the extension will give us that, Judy. The extension will give it. I think you'll be even a little, I may be guessing this wrong, Quinn, but the way I thought, you'll have a little more room than you got now, probably. You won't be any less, for sure.
No.
There's sometimes treats in that drawer that you indulge in.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Sometimes I take them.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, did I do the recommendation already? No. Recommendations moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councillor Gunson. The Council of Town Minto receives the coordinator's December 21st, 2021 report regarding the council chamber renovations updates as information. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Good. And I'll turn it over to Annaline for scheduling.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bridge.
It always is interesting because we schedule and then we have to understand that the schedule can change if we need to, right?
That's right. So through you, Mayor Bridge, we were looking at the schedule for the January meetings. I know that a report had come forward to you and we had passed the meetings for 2022. But in looking at them, although we normally meet the first and third Tuesday of each month, with January 4th being so close to Christmas, staff just getting back in and trying to get reports in over the Christmas holidays, I am requesting that we actually meet on January 11th in lieu of January 4th.
Yeah. And I think that's a good move, to be honest with you. Anybody got any concerns? Deputy Mayor Turton.
I'm looking at Good Roads, February 27th to March 2nd. The Tuesday night meeting, am I looking at that properly? March 2nd is Wednesday. And March 1st will be when Good Roads is on.
Yep.
I do see that there as well.
Mhm.
So that could be an additional change that we may wish to look at moving.
Which will be interesting to see whether Good Road stays. It doesn't go virtual. I think, can we maybe park that for now, Deputy Mayor Turton, but keep that in mind for sure.
Mhm. Yep.
Because
No
it's
problem.
certainly, I'm hopeful that we'll be through this, but I'm a little concerned about Good Roads not ending up being in person probably, but I might be wrong. Councillor Dirksen.
So I'm just curious, would we keep the January 18th meeting then as well?
That's correct. We would keep still the 18th meeting. So there would be 2 meetings in a row.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would have a meeting the following Tuesday, but then you'd have it on February 1st and you'd still have 2 meetings in a row. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Nope, that's fine. And I'm just wondering if we can be a little bit more ahead of the curve here and figure out if this is going to happen again in January of 2023. Don't know who's going to be here, but you know, we try to make plans around these schedules. So it'd be nice if we could see that coming ahead of time for 2023.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Anderson.
So January 11th is going to be a 3 o'clock meeting?
Yeah.
That's correct. It would be 3 p.m.
Okay.
And it'll be virtual too, Jean, eh?
Yep. I just had it down as January the 11th, but I had it at 7 p.m.
No, it'll be
whatever
afternoon.
reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on this as we go forward because, you know, with changes and whether going to be physical and be there or not be there, be interesting too. Okay, and did I have that? I moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor McKenzie. The Council of Town of Minto receives the clerk's report regarding the 2022 council meeting date change and approves moving the January 4th, 2022 council meeting to January 11th, 2022. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Okay, other business. And I think I had Judy and Deputy Mayor Turton, and I believe Jean. Okay, go ahead, Judy, first. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to just wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a safe Christmas and a better 2022.
Right. Thank you, Judy. And I'm sure we all feel the same. And we're going to do a little sing song. We're going to do that, our little song at the end. So, yeah. Okay, Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I just wanted to shout out to the food banks and the number of baskets and the food banks and anybody that helped gather toys, gather money, whatever it was that they worked on in reference to the hampers that were passed out. I know that the Legion, the Kinsman in Hairston and the food bank, I'm pretty sure that we were up to 50 hampers and gifts, and I know that Clifford and Palmerston worked hard at the same thing. So I'd just like to thank them. Their support and their hard work is certainly appreciated by the council, the staff, and all the folks, all the recipients in the town of Minto that received gifts and stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Turton, and thank you for being on that food bank group in Hairston. I know going forward, we're going to probably see more pressure on the food banks again. If people start getting laid off, especially the the restaurant business and whatnot if things get tight again. So let us know if we can be of any assistance. I know this council has been very supportive of all the food banks whenever we need it to be. So Councillor Anderson, I know what you're going to be speaking to, I'm sure. Go ahead.
How do you know? How do you know that?
Maybe
I
not,
just
maybe not.
as
You
well
might
wanted
surprise me.
to. I as well wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a holiday of some sort of social gathering as much as can be allowed, and hopefully everybody will accommodate to the changes that have happened in plans. And speaking of changes in plans, for anybody who doesn't know, we are going forward with the Christmas dinner, but it will be takeout only. We will be very cautious with our workers, keeping numbers limited and people segregated so that we have minimal chance of exposure, and everybody will be, the public will be just driving up and their meals will be taken to them. So there'll be no contact inside the building. But just to let people know, we still are getting calls. I think people are finding out that their original plans have changed. So we're having a lot of last minute requests for meals. And as far as I know, we're able to accommodate all those. So, if anybody that's going to be sitting alone, please encourage them to reach out, and we'll at least make sure they have a dinner, even if we can't provide company for them while they're having their dinner.
Thank you.
That is our ultimate goal, is to have people back socializing again. But
I know. And I'd say it's too bad. And it's interesting that you say that. I know the last time you spoke, you felt your numbers might be down a little bit because people were getting the opportunity to go to relatives and other people. And now we've had this situation. So good thing that you're there to support the people.
They were lower than they had been. But we also had a misprint in the article in the Wellington Advertiser. They put 2 N's in my email. So we've been catching up. People have been spreading the word and saying, so-and-so booked for a meal. And I said, well, I don't have it. Oh, well, that would be why. So I think we've sorted all that out. And we, as I say, we still do have people phoning. So let anybody that you know or come across, don't be without a meal. Just let us know.
Thank you.
We'll feed them.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor McKenzie.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to just take a moment here to talk about a safety issue. It's a pedestrian matter crossing the county road to Bridgeway and Stevenson. I was there the other day turning up Toronto Street, and I had to stop for the shift change. And the parents and the kids had to run across the road to escape the traffic changing there, coming over the hill and the shift change at TG Meadow. That's a dangerous spot there, and they shouldn't have to run across the road to get to their home. I think I'd like to recommend that we include a crosswalk of some sort in an appropriate spot there to alleviate that problem.
Are you talking at the bottom of the hill at TG Minto?
As soon as you turn the corner off Toronto to go west.
So you're talking about the new subdivision then, Councillor McKenzie?
Yeah, the families and their children from school, they can't get across the road without, it's too dangerous with traffic coming over there, especially when there's a shift change on. And I had to stop myself because there was traffic coming into TG Meadow, making the turn, and they went down the street about maybe 100 feet to get across the road, and that's a dangerous spot. I don't know. There's a lot of kids and going to be more coming in and out of that development with no way to get across that road.
Okay, well, we'll have Mike look. I'll get Derek to have Mike look into it. But Derek, the crosswalk is down by the old hospital, and the kids coming from the public school are supposed to go there, and then they get on the other side of the road and they walk up, and they'd have a sidewalk all the way up, Councillor McKenzie. But I don't know why they're coming down Toronto Street.
Well, they go to school up there.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. But we'll look into it. We'll look into it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? And again, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I have to reach out and say that the staff has done an amazing job this year. And it's sad that we couldn't have any staff events at the end, as it turned out. This is the second year in a row. It's sad that we can't do that, but really have to really look to ourselves going forward. And I said at the beginning, I said, just don't take any chances. This new variant is very I guess, how would you say, Gene? Transferable, I guess would be the term.
Contagious is the word.
Contagious, yeah, really
Yeah.
contagious, yeah.
Yes.
It's almost up there with measles. You know, it's getting pretty scary, and you know, if you're there for a little bit, and I say you might not get really sick if you have been vaccinated a couple times, but little kids still aren't vaccinated. A lot of them. We've only got 37% of our little kids vaccinated so far, one dose, and about 13% two. So there's issues there, and it's hitting them a little harder. So let's all be real careful. You know, keep our gatherings to a minimal, and hopefully we can, the new year going forward. I said this last year. I was hopeful again this year that we can get together. And one of the good things, I guess, is before this got really bad, we got a lot of our parades in and everything, and we saw what the pent up demand was to be out there. So if you can just hang tight and get through the Christmas season, and we can see what the kids get back to school or not, and go from there. But it's going to be a challenge again going forward in 2022, and appreciate all the hard work this council has done in 21, and certainly the staff. And you can pass it on, Derek, to the staff. I've been able to see a few of them, but not as many as I would normally see. So I'm sure that's the same with all the councillors. They miss that, having that interaction with the staff. So pass it on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Maybe if we can get them to share their cameras, and they can all sing along as well, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I would love all the staff to sing along this year, because you know, I know we haven't had a chance to practice this, but when we get there, we're not quite there yet. We got to do a few more things before we're done, but I want everybody singing this year. All right. Okay, anybody else other business? You're good? Okay. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Deputy Mayor Turton. The committee of the whole convenes the regular council. Anybody opposed? Carried. Any notice of motion? Sorry, Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor Bridge, I should have stepped up there. We, on behalf of the council, myself and the council and the staff, we need to thank you for being our mayor, and you have really carried the ball this year for sure. I mean, the communication back and forth from Derek and yourself to council has been excellent, and I mean, we owe a debt of gratitude to you, especially you, Mayor Bridge, for all the extra things that you have done, accomplished, being on the health board and being a big part of that. And I know that I doubt if you're ever home. So Merry
I'm
Christmas.
on Zoom a lot. I'm at home at Zoom. I'm zooming.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy Richard. And I couldn't do it without a great crew and a great team. That's what I really wanted to bring across. So really appreciate all your supports. So thank you. Okay, where we are. Okay, yes. Anybody opposed to moving back? No, good. All right. And notice of motion. We don't have. Do we have any notice of motion? I don't see any. Okay. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor McKenzie. Sorry, Councilor Elliott. The Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the committee of the whole. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Bylaws. Moved by Councilor Gutson, second by Councilor Anderson. Bylaw number 2021-96, a bylaw to establish fees and charges for various services provided by the municipality, be read first, second, and third time. Pass an open council and seal with seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? Carried. 2021-97. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Dirksen, that the bylaw number 2021-97 to adopt the estimates of all sums required during 2022 for the purpose of the municipality be read first, second, and third time and passed open council and seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? Carried. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Gunson, the bylaw number 2021-98 to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute a lease agreement with Dr. Tanya Norman and with the Minto Mapleton Family Health Team be read first, second, and third time and passed open council and seal the corporation. Anybody opposed? Carried. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, at the bylaw number 2021-99 to amend zoning bylaw 0186 to rezone 6167 fifth line from agricultural A to agricultural exceptional A5 be read first, second, and third time and passed an open council and seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Anderson, the bylaw number 2021-100 to confirm the actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto respecting the meeting held December 21st, 2021 be read first, second, and third time and pass an open council and seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? Carried. And before we do the adjournment, we want to do the song. So is everybody ready for this?
Sure.
Okay. Who's going to start us off?
What are we singing?
We wish you Merry Christmas. I think that's the only one we know. You got another one you want to do?
Annalena, you a reindeer?
It's a turkey.
The turkey.
Turkey?
It's a turkey.
No, it's a reindeer. Mr. Bean,
That's beautiful.
could you follow
Okay.
the bouncing ball?
All right. You ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Come on now, let's start this over
Wish
again.
you-
Whoa.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, no, hang on.
New Year.
We're not doing this are we doing this in part harmony or what? Like, we got to start right at the beginning. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. We wish you a
Merry Christmas.
We
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's
You know,
well done.
I think Zoom actually does it into, it's like a part thing, right? What do you call that?
Put our day jobs.
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks everybody again. Great time. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councillor Gutson, the Council of the Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the mayor. Anybody opposed? No.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Merry
We'll see you.
Christmas.
We'll see you soon.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year too. Take
Merry
care.
Christmas.